Hey, everybody. Today is June 23rd, 2023. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And you're hanging with Uncle.
How's it going, man?
And I almost did it again.
Yeah, I know.
With the mic. Wow.
I think the placement was heard, but I don't know. It don't matter. Anyways. Make sure you guys hit that like button.
And subscribe.
Exactly. And please hit the bell if you ever want to know whenever we go live in the future or post our content in the future as well.
Yes.
But we got some things to talk about. It has been kind of a crazy week. A lot of topics that I think everybody else is kind of aware of. So we kind of just want to discuss it with you as well. Because, I mean, that's what we do here.
From our point of view.
We just talk here. And honestly, if you want to talk with us, you're more than welcome to in the chat. And also hit us up in the comments, too.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with NBA talk first.
Before we get started on that, I wanted to bring something up, man.
Okay.
Because
open mic.
A friend of mine made a suggestion.
Uh-huh.
And I've given it a lot of thought because it made a lot of sense. So, Gene, you should put on a shirt and maybe a jacket and look a little professional, and maybe that would help the image of the show. And I'm like, I thought about it, and I'm like, the whole point of the show was to come to you guys from the point of the view of the voices that are not heard, and this is how the people that are chronically ignored dress.
And this is how I want to
yeah. So we're just going to be authentic, and that's why, because we want to keep it real, and
that's also kind of the main, I would say, but to bounce off of your ideas, the main point of the show. Like I would love to dress up for the show. But we are on the end of a Friday when we normally do our show, that we are introducing everybody to wind down and come hang out with us instead of dress up with us. So,
right.
I mean, not anything. I think it's a great idea, but we want this to still be that come down and hang out and get the hot topics of the week for the people who are disconnected throughout the week or who want to have a conversation about those hot topics. So, yeah, it's more just a conversation. Kind of us just hanging out, hanging with Uncle.
Yeah, but NBA, man.
Yeah, big talks, big things. Even though I don't quite know if the NBA or basketball or any other sport is a thing that our audience loves. So if you have any other conversation about any other sports, or if you guys love the sports segments, let us know. Because there was a lot of trades and a lot of drafts that have happened too. Obviously with the new draft that going down the other night. We're not going to talk much about the draft. They did the number one pick, the biggest pick out of since whoever you can say went to the Spurs again. That's kind of the deal. So get ready for that to see the Spurs.
Knows how to get him, man.
And he does, and he knows how to train him and teach him and coach him. So we'll see how the kid works. Wembanyama is the number one draft. He came from the French basketball league. And he is a monster, honestly, on the court. But I have to see him against bigs in the NBA there. Because the Frenchman he was playing against seemed a little bit smaller in the highlights. We do have 7-foot people here.
He kind of reminded me of Porzingis a little bit.
Yeah, a lot like Porzingis, who is also in one of the trade talks we're going to talk about in a second. But... yeah, I think he'll fit in well with the league. It is honestly the direction the league is going, and seeing these big ball handling big men come in and doing what they need to do. Honestly, we're probably just going to see 7-foot guys in each position in the future. Who knows? I mean, the game evolves.
I mean, he has a lot of skills.
He does.
He's going to really have to put in a lot of work because, in my opinion,
he's small.
He's real thin, I think he would get dominated by Jokic, by Luka down in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, I think AD would walk all over him, even Ayton. Not to mention Embiid, but he's also probably better than a lot of bigs. I'd rather have him than Drummond.
Yeah. And I'm sure the Spurs would much rather have them too, because they grabbed him at the first pick. I mean, any team would have grabbed him at the first pick, honestly. If you go check out his highlights, you'll see why. But yeah, he needs to fill in with the NBA role, because we know the best of the best play here. And there's a lot of big guys who are a little bit bigger than him. So we'll see how he fills in. But That is honestly the draft highlight. Everybody else who got drafted, yes, the guys are great. I think they'll be great role players on the other teams that need for what they've drafted for. There are a lot of impressive players, but the big news is in the trades.
It really is. And so let's go with Porzingis. We already looked at.
Already talked about him. Yep. So
if he can stay healthy, man, I think he would really bring a lethal dose of offense to the Celtics. And you really have to watch out for Boston if Porzingis can stay healthy.
And I mean, it's kind of the theme to have a big presence on the team now. It seems everyone's trying to get that big presence, so I think it's a good move for the Celtics as well.
Yeah.
Losing Smart, on the other hand, I don't know how much I feel about it, but I think honestly the Grizzlies improved a lot with receiving Marcus Smart from Boston.
They can probably get rid of Dylan Brooks now and his headache.
Most likely. But that's a big move. You'll see the Grizzlies be a little bit more grizzly when they play because Marcus Smart is a force to be reckoned with. Him alone, I think he has more wins than anybody on the Grizzlies is what they were saying or something like that.
Yeah.
And he knows how to bring winning to the table, and the Grizzlies have already started doing that with Ja Morant, but they did need somebody to come in to start their season off because he's going to be out for 25 games, 27 games, something like that.
He's showing to be kind of brittle.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The next big trade, Chris Paul. We already we knew he was going to be shipped. We already knew he was going to be shipped, but Golden State is the place he's in now.
But he went to Washington to be with the Wizards, and then from there, I don't know how he wound up with Golden State. It was just like
Jordan Poole trade. They traded Jordan Poole, the kid who got punched by Draymond Green. They traded him over to Washington. Now, I mean, Washington needed a scorer over there, so they got one because they also got rid of Bradley Beal. Yeah. See how all these are working together here.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal went over to Phoenix. The Suns now have Bradley Beal. People are talking about how the Suns are shallow of a team when they say they only have 4 players, 5 players. They really have 10, 11 right now on the roster. They're still got a roster going on. They need to pick up a few more role players, but I think they can honestly find that throughout the end of before the end of the season, of course.
I think they could work on their bench depth, but bringing Bradley Beal over, how much room in the cap do they have to do that?
I mean, not much, but I mean, trades still optional, or honestly, if you find some guys who are willing to get the veteran minimum, I'm sure they can also do that, but who knows? That's the one thing I'm worried about too is cap space, but I guess there's something with like a new CBA, something like that, whatever. I haven't looked into that yet, but that's causing a lot of these big blockbuster trades. Now, the other trades I have kind of formulated here, they have helped out most of these teams. The Lakers got a good handful of players
from Indiana,
for a sandwich and a bag of chips.
Right?
Like, honestly, they did. It was a pretty good all-around trade of how many players they have. I don't have the list right here, but it looks like that it's going to shape up the Lakers to be a pretty solid, deep team next year. Yeah. And maybe a team that can actually give LeBron some rest when he needs it.
And I heard Miles Turner, there's a really good chance he'll be coming to L.A.
Mm-hmm. That's also a big rumor as well.
And re-signing D'Angelo Russell as well, too. And that would be good if they could re-sign
That's
him.
something that they need.
Yeah.
Like, they still need that guard. We were thinking Chris Paul would go over there. But, I mean, it was a shot in the dark, I think, because it didn't seem like they pursued that hard for him.
I think the Lakers have a good point guard system going on, man, with Russell starting and Schroeder coming off the bench. I mean, those are good quality guards, man. I mean, they should both be starting in the NBA, not one of them coming off the bench. So I think that would really work on the Lakers' depth. And they already made it to the conference finals this year, even though they got swept by Denver. But, just a couple more pieces and the Lakers could be, again, a force to be reckoned with in the West.
A lot of these teams are kind of replicating that we're going for a title. That's what they're doing. They're building for a title. Everyone thinks it's a possibility to win next year. So we're going to see a scrappy NBA next year, and I'm excited for it.
And I tell you, one team that I think is too good to, miss the playoffs 2 years in a row is Portland. But is the front office going to do anything to give Damian Lillard some help?
I don't know, man. And as much as I love Lillard, I think if Portland doesn't do anything for him it really is in his court right now to decide if he really wants to build with this young core again, another young core that he's gonna get, or ship it, go somewhere else. But he's not. It's every year the same conversation about him trying to figure out if he's going to stay or not. He's just going to be stuck there, I think. And as much as I would love to have him come here, go anywhere else, anybody else would love to have Damian Lillard on their team. I don't see it happening.
Could he stay healthy, though? He's been kind of fragile the past couple of seasons.
Who knows?
As well.
Who knows? But time will tell with that, definitely. I mean, he may be closer to retirement than being traded. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways, that was a good one. We got a lot of the ones I wanted to get across. Cool.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to the future of the NBA because I feel like with all the movement and the trades and seeing these teams that are either going for the build, who understand how to do the build now, and who are the teams who are in the hunt, who are going to be doing better. There are these teams who are not doing any changes who are going to be just as good because they are sticking with the same core and they're going to have that experience together. So next year is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking for it's going to be a mixed bag, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I'm excited for next season.
Yeah. All right, well, there's something I kind of want to talk about, man.
Okay.
And I wonder if we have seen a trend to take down the misinformation being spread by right-wing media.
Okay.
Because we've watched Dominion win $787.5 million against Fox. And now Kari Lake, who ran for governor here in Arizona as an election denier, and lost the governor's race.
She's not one of my favorite people.
No, but I think this is important, man, because again, having a little bit of knowledge, because I've been down to the county recorder's office many times, when I was doing my work as a PC and stuff, verifying signatures, for people to get on the ballot and stuff. So I've been down there, and her election denying stuff about now her race when she lost the governor's race, all the lies she started spewing. Well, Maricopa County poll workers have sued her for defamation.
Good. We don't care if you're on TV for us. You're dumb.
Right. So, but I think, is that really going to be the way? Is that how we're going to stop the misinformation? Suing them, proving their line. Because remember, the definition, the elements to meet defamation are something false has to be said. She's said it on videotape and numerous interviews over and over again.
It's literally on Twitter all over the place. I can show you.
Okay, so we have proof that she said it.
Yep.
Who was it against? It was against the people who run the election.
Me. If you're spewing lies, that's misinformation for me as a voter. That's everybody. It should be against everybody.
And it is. So, and that exactly proves my point. It crosses another element off the list because now, can you trust your election workers?
No.
Are you going to have a free and fair election with all the time that you're being accused of fraudulent elections?
What if that's going to be the plan?
So you see, so now you've said something that is false, and it has negatively impacted the person that you have said it about. And now what's the remedy for that?
Honestly,
Money. because it's going to be a civil case.
Yeah, a civil case is money for
right.
sure.
But again, man, is that going to be the playbook on now and how we use?
Do we trust our justice system enough now these days? Like,
we'll get to that later on.
Yeah. Man.
But you know, it's like all these election deniers. So now finally, what about Margarine Trader Green and all of her nonsense that she's been spewing, you know?
She called Lauren Boebert a little bitch the other day.
Yeah, the House floor, yeah. I mean, saw that.
Rare W for Marjorie, but I don't cheer for her often, so...
You know, to me, and again, what they're fighting over is something stupid, but anyway, the bottom line is the elements are met here for a defamation against Kari Lake. Mm-hmm. She's going to learn, or should learn, to shut the hell up and stop lying. You lost. Mm-hmm. Accept it.
Literally.
You know, maybe talk about something that the people want to hear, like
the weather.
You know, lowering taxes in the state.
Yeah.
Or let's talk about funding education. Let's talk about
don't put her on TV.
Bringing trades back to school. Let's talk about something that people want instead of this nonsense you're putting about how our elections can't be trusted.
No, we've talked about this, Gene, so many times. We can't have misinformation be fed to the people who are being guided by you to cast a vote for our future.
Right.
How does that sound right?
It's not. It sounds like, acquiring your vote by fraud and deception.
Right. Yeah, it's like, look at this nice truck over here. Yeah, this nice truck over here is for sale, blah, 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 blah. And you put money towards it. Everybody else gets the vote money towards it, but you, special person, gets to win it. Okay, cool. You win it. Here's the truck. Well, but this is not what you were telling me what truck it was. We lied. And then that's kind of it. Like, what? I don't get it, man. I just can't. And then and this whole thing's going in full circle. I don't know if you've recognized this. Now we are spewing about fake information when it was them originally that was spewing about fake information.
But the difference is when you bring a lawsuit like that, you have the burden of proof as
concrete,
as the poll worker to prove what she said is a lie, and that lie was impacted you negatively.
Now that's where the end is going to be. But if that is what they try to twist next, I'm going to call it right now. If it's going to continue, people are going to continue getting arrested, blah, blah, blah. One, they're going to start aiming towards the police and people who are arresting, or not even arresting, like charging people for misinformation. And then they're going to start saying misinformation is spewed all the time in politics. And I honestly feel like that is exactly the direction that they will go if this whole shenanigan continues. We need to fucking stop it.
But I don't think that that would ever get through the legislature, because that's something that would have to be passed through your state house and senate and then put on the governor's desk and signed into law. And I don't see them ever trying that.
Right.
But, if you keep hitting them in the wallet, you're lying, sue them, prove they're lying,
show it,
and show me the money,
and then make these media sites and sources express the truth. Which I honestly feel like right now I'm giving a lot of weird props today. I feel like Fox is gonna get a little yippee from me right now because it looks like they are trying to end this. They don't want to do the Trump thing anymore. They're done, because this last interview I saw they had with Trump with Brett Baier?
Brett
Baier. They roasted the shit out of him.
When you spend $787.5 million for lying, you want to do something to turn your reputation around.
Exactly that. So it honestly, it starts with sources and proper sources. To start becoming proper sources, you know what that is. You went to school. You got to quote your where you're getting your information from. If they start doing more of that culture, we start kicking ass in the you lying. We're gonna sue you. Stop lying. We're gonna keep suing you. You keep lying. Stop lying. why are you lying still? We're going to sue you again. If you're going to keep doing that, then yeah, we already know these guys love their money. So if we start taking their money from them,
and that's what's going to happen. I think we've seen the playbook now.
Mm-hmm. So if that's...
You're going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Social media now, the double-edged sword, the other side of it is showing
Mm-hmm.
the lies you're putting on social media are now going to come back and haunt you, and you're going to pay for them literally.
Absolutely. I mean, again, little golf clap for Fox News. Get better. Keep getting better, please. Because, I mean, again, the information that we receive, it needs to be truthful information regardless. Or at least if you're going to start having these like onion type of like headlines, whatever, start calling yourself entertainment instead of news. Say Fox Entertainment. Because then we need to also understand and stop fiddling with the line of what is news and what's not. We need to actually have concrete, like we're saying with suing them and everything, information coming to us. So we need to start figuring out how to get that information, and that will stop these people from lying too as well. So
absolutely,
I think if we find a common structure with that, we can change. Hopefully.
As a matter of fact, I watched an interview Sean Hannity did with California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean Hannity came at him with all these vague innuendos, and Gavin Newsom hit him with facts and shut him down.
I've been saying that's how it should be.
Facts.
Facts.
And you can't dispute the facts. You can't spin them. You can't ignore them and call them fake just because you don't like what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox may lose a lot of viewers now, but the ones that stick around and pay attention will maybe now somehow start to see the light that they've been lied to ever since Fox was created.
And then that'll help us understand who's the onion and who is not within all of us, because the people who keep spewing the guy who has like the pillows, whatever, that kind of like crazy nonsense. They keep spewing crazy nonsense. Thank you. Yeah. And they keep spewing craziness. You'll know. Oh yeah, they get their information from XYZ. We know that's kind of crazy shit.
Right.
So, and as soon as we start doing it, we're fine. But we gotta start seeing it more.
We do.
Definitely that interview with Trump though was crazy. I watched that. It was nuts.
You know, all he does is confess, man.
Finally.
You know, he just like the first half of his answer says one thing and then totally contradicts himself again with something else. Like, these are my documents. I have every right to have them. Mm-hmm. They planted them on me.
Who's they, sir? Tell us. Who's they?
I know, right?
Who's
it's
they? Like, so we can ask them. We can find out where they were at that time, and it being a lie. And then we'll tell you you're lying.
How can you, if you're of sound mind, how do you not see that? But again, are you just a sheep and you're cheering for your team instead of cheering for the Constitution?
Exactly that. Exactly that, man. You got the team mentality again. And it's now looking like it's starting to turn out to be more Team Trump than Team Right. They're trying to get that separation.
There's a fraction.
Yeah, they're trying to get that separation. So
yeah,
hopefully it continues. Because man, I was worried at one point. I still am.
Well, I'm hopeful that the Dems get control of the House, so these whack jobs that are running the House of Representatives right now, who are getting nothing done for the people. The only thing they're doing is they're trying to impeach Joe Biden. For what? For what crime did he commit?
He mishandled documents too, and turned them in when he was requested to.
But again, that was before he was president.
I mean, either then. So he still did what he needs to do. Trump is not doing what he needs to do.
Everything that Biden has done and accomplished in his presidency, man, has done nothing but benefit the American people. It doesn't benefit just Democrats. So like the jobs bill, the I-95 is put together now back in Pennsylvania, right? That's government money put back together. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Independents, everybody drives across that bridge. It's not just for Democrats.
But like the thing is, it's just like politic conversation now is just finger pointing and name calling now. That's all it's turning out to be.
That's why I'm glad I'm changed to no
independent, right?
Yeah, no party preference.
No party preference. Same. I mean, I haven't had a party preference. I vote for the people who support things that I support.
Yeah,
that's just kind of it. Like, that's honestly, again, how it should be. We're getting closer to it.
We are.
I'm ready. Line them up, man. Candidate number 7, what do you like to talk about? Let's hear it. Yep, you're crazy. Cool. Next, candidate 8. Instead of blue and red. Like,
thank you.
Line them up.
Thank you. Anyways, time for our dumbass of the week.
Yes, and we have it's kind of an obvious topic that I'm going to throw out there for the dumbass of the week, because it's been a weekly topic. We're going to talk about that mini submarine that went missing. If you're ready for it, I know you're ready for it. You've heard a lot about it. Now, yes, it was a very dumb thing. Everything's dumb about this. This whole situation is dumb. So it's going to get dumbass of the week for me, because the whole story is just dumb. Okay?
Well, let me start out. I just want to say, it's tragic that people lost their lives.
Yes.
But they did it
in a stupid way.
Thank you.
And as humans, we learn survival of the fittest is how we have gotten to where we are today. So we're going to learn from this experience that we've all experienced, I guess, in some different way. Now, again, yes, people have lost their lives. It's really sad. That's kind of like where I'm going to get. Because the rest of it is going to be dumbass of the week content. Now, who in their dumbass mind is going to put themselves in a Coca-Cola can for $250,000 and see how long it takes for the Coca-Cola can to go? I've seen those science videos. We've all seen it. What happens to a can in a high pressure chamber or a low pressure chamber? It's all on YouTube. We know what happens with that. Now, to look at the Titanic, I get the appeal, maybe, if it wasn't so far down in the ocean to where the can would get crushed.
Over 2 miles deep.
Yes, thank you. 2 miles. Now, people think, it's not too far. No, 2 miles is pretty far. Run that. And let me know how far that is.
Yeah.
With that, who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to go and do this? I don't understand. And then the more dumbassery piles on top of it. Now, these people, 5 people paid for this. One of them was the owner of the company, who also received warnings about, hey, you should probably fix this up and finish the product, I guess, because you might end up killing somebody. Literally in their reviews about it.
Yeah.
And decided to ignore it. That's the other dumbass part of it. More dumbassery.
and because of that, to avoid any regulation, they went out in international waters so they wouldn't have to comply with those suggestions for safety.
Which is also a red flag. I hope you guys are getting the idea here. If there's red flags, don't go. It is kind of the deal. I tend to tell myself, don't put your place in situations where there could be stuff like this happening. And these people put themselves in that situation. Well, anyways, you already know the story. The submarine went missing and imploded on itself. And literally with not even a day within the trip. And
actually, I think probably, so it takes like 4 hours to get to the bottom, and I think within about 2 hours into the dive is when it
imploded. That's so insane. More stuff that goes along with it. Apparently the Navy heard a sound, but they didn't quite know much about what it was with, but they didn't really say much about it because they used a secret device that isn't so secretive anymore now. Because they were using that device and they didn't want to exploit that, I guess. So they knew about the sound of the can crushing in water. They were able to hear it. So I'm assuming that that's kind of a dumb thing too. In the story for me too, it's like, why now we know it's a secret device. They could have possibly said it was a secret device before. Why tell us now when you plan on keeping it a secret, but then you tell us anyway? So it's like, again, besides the point. Well, there's a whole bubble of dumb in the whole story.
And the thing for me, again, if these guys went out in international waters to avoid regulation, did the Navy know about it? Did the Navy know that there was a personal private vehicle they were listening to crushing under the water? I mean,
but they're not going to report it immediately when they hear it. Yes, but when you know that a sub went missing, you think we would find that out within that day. The Navy be like, oh, hey, we heard something. Could that possibly have been it? Something like that. Instead of waiting until after everything, after they're out of air to say something about it. That's the deal. I understand. Yeah, if you heard something, it's that's weird. We'll keep an eye on it, kind of deal. I get that. That should be protocol, right? Instead of announcing it all the time. But if there's a search that starts to happen and then days later go on and the search is still happening and they have maybe 2 days left of air, maybe it would have been a good time to tell us then. Instead of, again, afterwards, because now it's not so secret. It's not a secret thing anymore. People know about the item. That's dumb to me. I don't know. It's dumb to me. So it's a part of the story.
Don't go out of your way to get crushed by the depths of the ocean.
Exactly that, people. Come on now. The whole story's dumb. Again, we're sorry about the people who lost their lives in this situation, but we need to learn from this, please. It's just, man. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. That's why that is part of my dumbass of the week. So I'm good.
My dumbass of the week is Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. Mm-hmm. Now, we already heard about Clarence Thomas and the gifts he was taking, and his benefactor, Harlan Crow, bought the house that his mom lives in rent-free because he's her landlord. He owns the house, and none of that got reported. Well, now we're learning about Samuel Alito and doing the same thing, accepting lavish gifts, a salmon fishing trip in Alaska that he went on his friend's private jet up to Alaska to do, and he didn't report that either. Now, that's an expensive, trip, right? But he wanted to justify it by saying, well, the trip was already planned, and I was invited, so I just tagged along. Why, they were going there anyway. Mm-hmm. So does that mean I'm going to contact United Airlines and say, hey, do you have an open flight on this trip to, wherever it's going?
It's going anyway.
It's going anyway, so I'm just going to jump on for free. How does that sound? I would be in court and prosecuted for trying to steal a seat. But it's okay for a Supreme Court justice to do that. So don't insult my intelligence. You're a dumbass. You have no business on the Supreme Court. I think it's way past due for some type of ethics to be done on the Supreme Court and accountability. Mm-hmm. And talk about being above the law. These guys got to go. Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and anybody else we find out on the Supreme Court. Gorsuch, same thing. There's some stuff coming out about him now. So
we want to stop.
Stop. It's okay. Two set of laws, one for, thee and one for me. And the one for thee is where they have no accountability and they can take these lavish trips if they want to. But you and I, if we tried to do that, we'd be in jail so fast.
Right, exactly that.
In their court.
Right. Yeah, they're like, you can't do that, but you do it. No, I don't do that. I do it differently. Yeah, that's kind of the deal. I'm over it, man. Lying, I'm over people being bought out and being told to do things. Like, you need to operate for the people instead of money. That's how our Constitution works.
We've already told you how much Supreme Court justices make, so
I went on that already.
I wouldn't be mad, to make what they make. Man, I would be totally happy. I wouldn't need anything else, and I wouldn't need to ask anybody for anything.
That's so crazy, man.
Right?
Bribes and lying. What else, man? It's the mafia is what it sounds like.
It really is, man. Anyway.
Bunch of criminals.
That's about all the time we have for this week.
Yep. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us rant about topics. If you want to talk with us about it, post up in the comments. Come by and say hi to us next time on the show. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it's been Hanging with Uncle.
And we'll see you next